All right, hello and good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, and we are back to Helldiving, our favorite game of all time. Gonna just do a little bit of Helldiving for fun, get through this Wednesday morning. A little dark and dreary out there. It's raining and winds whipping. Half the people in the area are out of power because of issues with transformers blowing up. So it's a little bit of a day here. So we're just gonna Helldive. We're gonna make the most of it. Let's see what everyone's up to. We've only got 3,000 people over here. We've got 10,000 on the Illuminate, and I'm sure we've got like 20,000 on the bugs. Yeah. Not a whole lot happening over here today. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on to Marfark. I think it's time we do a little bit of commando work. We haven't done any commando operations recently, so let's extract some intel. We haven't gotten to do anything sneaky in a while, so let's be a little sneaky. Can I ask why you think the DayZ UI is trash? Yeah, so there's so much that I feel is wrong with it. Like, the meleeing feels so bad. Okay, you have to hold right click to bring up your fist, then left click to attack. That's awful. I couldn't figure out, maybe this is just on me, maybe I didn't know how to do this, but I couldn't figure out how to hot swap between my fists and my gun, so I had to constantly pull up a menu and drop the gun out, and to use the can opener on the cans. It just felt like there was always this clunky extraness to it. Like, it required so much extra effort just to make things work. It just seemed like it was not streamlined. It felt like there was a lot more that they could do to make it easier to work, is kind of how I felt every time I tried to interact with it. Let's put on our sneaky gear. There we go. We are sneaky mode. Let's put on our sneaky weapons, the sensor. There we go. Very, very sneaky. And just in case, let's grab that. Perfect. Okay, now we need a C4 pack. Perfect. And basically nothing else will matter because we don't get to use our stuff all that often. So let's grab a couple mechs just in case we need them. And I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter too much. There we go. Why not? We'll have the tank on the commando mission because who knows? Why not? And maybe it's just a product of its time. I didn't realize how old DayZ was. Like, I thought DayZ had come over. I thought it was like 2018, 2019. I didn't realize DayZ was like 2010s, 2012. So it is an older game. So I do understand that older games had a little bit worse UI there. But I feel like it is not intuitive. Like most games, you can pick up and start playing and enjoying the game. And DayZ, you're fighting the UI, trying to learn how to click everything, how to do everything. Jonathan's here. Good morning. Okay, we're running. We're running away. They see us already. Even something as simple as making scraps from clothes you have to find the clothes on the ground, then you have to go to your inventory, grab the hatchet. You'd think that a button would just pop up that allows you to scrap it right there, but it's everything requires 6 steps. Nothing just works. It's always first open up the inventory, then click this and drag this over here, then click this button, and it feels like there's so many extra steps to everything. Armor Robbie, good morning. I am doing good this morning. How are you doing? Alright, let's call in the Super Destroyer. Let's activate this just so we have a couple reinforcements just in case things go absolutely south for us here. Let's see. Do I have to call the Super Destroyer in over here? Is that how we do it? I haven't done commando missions in so long, I forget how to do it here. Here we go. Let's get a resupply just in case. Where is the thingy? Oh, move, 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 move. Alright, looks like we're gonna have to... Oh, there's big patrols here, okay. Why? Why do people insist on bringing that stupid turret booster that does that? I absolutely despise that turret booster. This game is Helldivers. This is Helldivers 2. It came out in 2024, February 2024. It is one of the best games, in my opinion, ever made. And my teammates have come in and absolutely wrecked my stealth run. I shouldn't have called them in. I shouldn't have called in teammates at all. I do not understand why you would do a stealth mission and you would cause an automatic attack thing to come in, which destroys the stealth. What are you thinking? What are you doing? And yet, here we are. Which is it's so mind-boggling to me. The last few days I've been talking about raiding in World of Warcraft and how there's so many adults in like World of Warcraft who can't follow basic directions, and everyone's coming in doing you just gotta get good, which I hate. I hate the get good rhetoric so much, but also it's so weird that people are doing like pretending like people aren't dumb. Like if you say I work in customer service and people are stupid, people are like, yeah, you're absolutely right. If you say I'm a server, I'm a waiter or a waitress, and people are dumb, people say, yeah, you're absolutely right. But when I say a lot of people in World of Warcraft are dumb, all of a sudden it's your fault, you're bad, you're wrong. Like how is it that everyone agrees that so many people are dumb, but when you play World of Warcraft, all of a sudden, nope, it's nope, it's got to be you. There's no such thing as dumb people. I'm so stressed out to say my grandma's health has gotten worse. She's gotten blind in one of her eyes. Doctor says irreversible. I feel really terrible for her. That is definitely tough. Watching other people suffer is definitely one of the hardest things, right? Because it's like you're watching other people have a bad time, you're watching other people hurt, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And that's such a frustrating experience to watch other people suffer, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Alright, we're going to try this again. I don't think we're going to call in teammates this time. Alright, take it easy. We'll see you next time, Armor Robbie. Since teammates are out here ruining things. That doesn't look like a commando mission at all.
Synchronized. Mission preparation aborted.
Commando mission over here, maybe? Here we go. There we go. Okay, let's try this again without interference from other people.
Engaging orbital thrusters.
Grab that. That. Let's grab the stealth thing, actually. Where's I haven't touched it in a while. Oh, maybe not. I'd trade places with my grandma if I could. That's the thing, though. Like that doesn't solve it, right? Like if we trade places with her, then we feel better, but then everyone around us is gonna feel the same thing we're feeling, right? It's a no-win situation. So sometimes we just have to accept that there is human suffering in the world, and there's nothing we can do about it Sometimes the suffering just has to exist, and we might not understand why, and we just have to let it be as it is. Like, Emmy got her wisdom teeth out, and there's nothing I could do to make her feel better. I just had to watch her sit there and be miserable. And now it's the reverse is going to be true. She has to watch me as I get my wisdom teeth out, and I sit there and be miserable, and there's nothing we can do about it. And that's sometimes just the way of life.
Objective near your position.
Okay, this time, no mistakes.
Super destroyer leaving low orbit.
I know it's been a while since I've played this game, but holy cow, why can I not? There we go. I knew I had to get a special call-in. There's the call-in.
Objective complete.
Okay. Destroy the anti-air emplacements. We can do that. Can be nice and sneaky. See if we can jump over the water. We did.
Objective nearby.
Fire in the hole.
Okay. Perfect throw. Robbie's back. Welcome back.
Fire in the hole.
That was a bad throw. See if we can get that on there. It looks like it attached.
Diver, you are moving outside the mission area.
I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if we're going to be able to solid snake crawl right by this guy. Crawl very slowly, very sneaky. Don't be suspicious. Gotta say though, since I stumbled across your channel, watching your streams and watching your videos really do cheer you up. Just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you.
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
Okay. I think that will work. Let's sneak back the way we came. Just very, very quietly. I'm not doing anything. I'm not alerting no one. I'm just sneaking. No one sees me. No one's suspicious of me. We're just a ghost. I don't think he sees me. Call you Johnny? Alright, Johnny. I'll try and remember that. Oh, that's not good. I didn't realize there was a whole patrol there. I thought that was just one guy lone standing out there, but apparently not. Okay, apparently not. Apparently that was a whole patrol. There was just one guy randomly standing there, and the rest of the patrol decided to break off from him. That was unfortunate. All right, we'll let those guys pass, and we'll try again. Because I think if I jump in the water, that will alert these guys, or they're going to come directly for me. There we go. Okay. That is a huge patrol. Let's see. Yeah, we need to get back up to our resupply on the other side over there. Do you play Call of Duty? Sometimes. I don't mind Call of Duty. I like the game sometimes, but it's too sweaty for me. I do not have the reflexes to play Call of Duty anymore. I'm too old for Call of Duty. Alright, well, apparently stealth is just not working here because somehow, even though I did a stealth shot, they just immediately locked onto me, so that's unfortunate.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Come on. Woo! We just barely snuck around that. Just barely.
Helldiver, you are moving.
Like, I like Call of Duty, but like all these people who spend 100 hours learning to wall jump and cancel sliding and quick scoping and all that, like I can't keep up. I have no ability to keep up with all the people who can do all those different things. What I do usually do is thank you for the sub and likes, I appreciate that. Is I will usually just grab a shotgun and I'll play that way. I'll play with a shotgun. And I know that that makes me absolutely despised in the Call of Duty community to be that guy just running around with a shotgun. But that's the only way, like, I'll play on the hardcore mode where it's just one shot, one kill. That I have the reflexes and ability to do. I can handle the hardcore mode where it's not quick snapping around and all that, but that's about as far as I'll go in Call of Duty. I do like Warzone though. I do like the Battle Royale version of it. I do enjoy the Battle Royale Call of Duty.
Spot outpost spotted.
Spot outpost destroyed.
All right, that's one problem solved. See if I can quick scope these guys. There's 3 of them, 4 of them, maybe not. Maybe we'll just sneak around them. I appreciate all the likes and subs. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. You want to be friends? I mean, we can be friends in stream and chat. I don't mind with that, but I don't do much outside of the stream, unfortunately, because right after my stream, I go to work and I work all day. I work 10-hour shifts, and then basically it's dinner and bed. So I don't really have a whole lot of time to do like texting and other things. So I'm not really active outside of the stream just because of life. And then hopefully, usually on weekends, I try and be busy with things like my other art, taking photographs, going out and doing that. And I'm working on a new YouTube project right now. I am doing a ultimate guide to OCIA for the Catholic Church. And that is going to take up quite a bit of my time. I need to go get a lot of B-roll footage. So that's going to be the Mount Angel Abbey. That's going to be taking pictures and videos of Mass and things like that. So I'm going to be quite busy, hopefully, for the next month or two while I write a script, obtain B-roll footage, and go out and grab all the stuff. So I'll chat in stream. I definitely don't mind that, and I love getting to know people. I love getting to know my small community. I'm a very small, tight-knit community. You know, there's usually only about, like, 5 or 6 of us. But outside of that, I'm so distracted with other things. I'm really excited for this project, though. OCIA is something I'm really, really, really passionate about, and I really want to help other people have a good OCIA experience and bring them into the church. And I want to make it a better experience for them, because right now it can be a very frustrating experience. I see an arm. Yes, that is the Waffle Knight behind me making some waffles. Every now and then you also see a swarm of bees fly back. Good morning, Ben. Yes, the Ultimate Catholic Survival Guide. There is a book I want to work on, which is Wisdom with Waffles, but I haven't sat down and started writing it, so I think that's going to be the next thing after I'm done with the OCIA Survival Guide. I'd like to do a little bit more about just a Catholic survival guide. Because the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, I hate to bring this up, but like with Trump support still, last time they did a thing, 50% of Catholics still supported Trump. Now he's done his whole blasphemy as Jesus pictures and all the other stuff he's been doing. I'm hoping that number will go down, but the fact that he still has such high support while he's actively out committing blasphemy, while he's actively doing war crimes, while he's actively basically being the Antichrist, clearly a lot of Catholics are still lost in the faith and don't fully understand the faith as they should. So I'm hoping that I can be a influence of good on that. I cannot believe how high his support is, especially among Christians. And like, I get that some people like, this is the final straw, and I'm walking away. It's like, okay, so this was the final straw. Depicting himself as Jesus was the final straw, but all the other atrocities that he's committed, locking children in cages, deporting people to countries where they don't belong, sending the ICE agents to go destroy lives, that was all okay. But insulting the Pope and depicting himself as Jesus, that was the line. Like, I'm glad that you finally hit the line, but also like, you should have hit that line a long, long time ago. I don't think I'll be able to take those guys out just yet. We're gonna sneak around a little bit more. Just a little bit more sneaking. Okay, there we go. We should be good to get up. Looks like we got a patrol coming to our left. Yep. All right, we're just going to sneak right past them. I also, as Lorene, all right, enjoy school. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. That line must have been the equator. I'm debating also, The Catholic Gentleman is a podcast I often find myself disagreeing with. And the other day they posted a video that I didn't watch the video, but like the tagline was talking about Catholics and depression. And it seemed like the argument that they were trying to make was that Catholics would be less depressed if they would just do what God made them to do, right? If you fall in line with God, then you're going to fight depression. And I don't really like that rhetoric. Like, I do agree that if you are living your life in a way that is pleasing to God and you're doing the things for God like you should be, that there is a much less chance you'll be depressed. I definitely don't disagree with that it can definitely help you feel fulfilled and good. But I also just don't like this idea that, oh, the only reason you have depression is because you're doing something wrong or you're being a sinner. And if you just repented and followed God, you wouldn't have depression, because we know that some depression is caused from like a chemical imbalance, right? And no amount of prayer or being close to God will remove that chemical imbalance. So that is definitely a problematic way of thinking. I feel like this idea that you just gotta follow God, and all of a sudden all your problems will be solved. I just, it's kind of an icky way of thinking to me. And maybe I need to watch the whole thing and get, maybe that's not what they're trying to say, but the tagline that they gave me made it seem like that was their argument, is just repent and be with God, and then you'll magically be cured of your depression. And again, I do feel like if you do things in line with God, you will feel a lot better, but it won't magically cure your depression. Okay, can we stick right to that? Perfect. Okay. Take that guy out. And that guy. And that guy. All right. That's another problem solved. We're halfway there. Speaking of halfway there, there's a SpongeBob episode where it's like halfway there with the racing. I was going through movies last night, and SpongeBob popped up as a movie to watch. And for some reason, SpongeBob was listed under horror movies. And like I know that the new SpongeBob isn't the greatest, but I feel like putting SpongeBob under like horror category is a little bit of overkill. I don't feel like SpongeBob should be classified as horror. Again, I know that the new seasons aren't nearly as good as the old seasons, but I think it's a little drastic to call it a horror movie. Oh, let's see. There's a whole patrol there.
Sending down equipment package.
Can we sneak by that patrol? The pizza episode. The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. That is classic SpongeBob at its absolute best. I definitely agree with people that the first season and second season of SpongeBob is the best. You have is that a film, a projector? Okay. Ooh, we're gonna get a snowstorm here soon. Excellent. The blizzard will cover my tracks very quietly.
Destroyer leaving low orbit.
Fire in the hole.
Yes, blizzard, cover my sneaky tracks. Aren't they the same episodes? We're halfway there and the big boulder ride. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm not that big of a SpongeBob fan, so I couldn't tell you. You have a computer? That is excellent.
How about a nice cup of liver tea?
We love computer gaming. We are big fans of computer gaming here. Alright, that guy saw us, but only for a moment. Oh, he's calling in friends, though. Let's try and sneak up around. Got done watching the Rick and Morty Easter episode. I haven't seen the new season of Rick and Morty yet. I enjoy Rick and Morty, but I gotta tell you, I'm so glad that the whole I'm such a Rick Sanchez, I'm so smart and misunderstood. I'm glad that the fandom has moved past that, I'm glad that people have started realizing the absolute cringe that was all the people being like, I'm just like Rick Sanchez, and that we have moved past that as a society. Because, man, was that an insufferable period of time when everyone was trying to be like, oh, you don't watch Rick and Morty? You're just not smart enough to get it. You just don't understand the complexities of Rick and Morty like I do. If you were more of a Rick like me, you would fully understand this. But clearly you just aren't smart enough to fully comprehend the brilliance. So I'm glad that that part of the fandom has died down a lot. Oh, hello there. I didn't even see that guy there. Okay. We're gonna move away. We will come back to this. There's a lot of fandoms that are insufferable. The My Hero Academia, like, this is one of those things where, like, I understand that I can't understand everything and that people are different, and that's part of what makes the world so great, that people have differences, all that. I don't disagree with any of that. But there are just some things that, like, I struggle so badly to understand. And one of the things I struggle to understand is, like, the My Hero Academia fandom. So My Hero Academia is over, right? They have finished the episodes. There's no more My Hero Academia. The show is finished. And so the fandom still exists, but because there's no new content for the fandom, people have to make up their own content, right? And that's usually, like, where fan fiction comes in and people telling their own stories, and no problem with that. But there's also, like, this part of the fandom where, like, okay, there's no new content, but I love this show, so we gotta keep talking about this show. And so people are just gonna sit there and, like, okay, well, let's talk about whatever. Okay, what do we want to talk about? So right now, the My Hero Academia fandom is going through, like, what is each My Hero Academia member, what is their favorite food? Like, what was their favorite fruit? Like, would Bakugo like bananas, or would he like kiwis more? And, like, okay, like, yeah, I guess we could talk about that, but also, like, don't you have better things to do with your time? Like, I get My Hero Academia is fun to talk about, and it's a good show to talk about, but, like, you're gonna spend your free time talking with internet strangers about whether you think Bakugo would like kiwis or bananas more? Like, I don't get why anyone would willingly spend their time discussing that, you know? Hello, Johnny. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get why you would spend your time discussing that when there's so many other things you could spend your time doing. I feel like Deku would be gluten intolerant. I don't know a whole lot about gluten, but I'm fairly certain there's an episode where he eats a ton of rice from Lunch Rush. So I'm fairly certain he is not gluten intolerant because he consumed all that rice. And I'm fairly certain rice is mostly gluten. Oh, hello there. All right, this is bad. So let's destroy that. And this one. Got it. There goes the stealth. They wouldn't show you the aftermath. That does perhaps make them cowards. They definitely could show us the aftermath of gluten intolerance. But like I said, I just like, I love My Hero Academia. And I could talk about My Hero Academia certainly, and talk about, like, the merits of it as a work of fiction, the merits of, like, the inner workings of the character. Like, there's definitely, when it comes to literature, there's plenty that can be discussed when it comes to literature, right? Like, there's a lot of good that can come from discussing literary works. I don't want to discount that, but, like, we're not talking about discussing literary works. We're talking about discussing fictional characters and their favorite fictional foods. That just seems like such a waste of time. And when we look at how little time we actually have on this earth, is that how you want to spend your precious moments? I just don't get it. Dex, are we gonna do the music quiz today? You promised me. You promised me a music quiz stuff, and I still haven't gotten said music quiz information. Are we? Are we doing that? Are you? Is that for today? Also, as I'm getting farther into Kaiju number 8, I think I can safely say that the Kafka from Kaiju number 8 is way more annoying than Deku ever was. Holy cow. That is... I cannot believe how annoying they made Kafka. I want to like Kaiju number 8 so much. But those first couple episodes with Kafka are really annoying. How he goes from like, I'm a serious old man to now I'm going to act like a teenage girl and I'm going to scream and I'm going to cry and I'm going to run around. And I don't get why all anime and manga is allergic to making stoic, normal characters. Depends on if my anxiety settles down. Fair. Here's a hot topic. How short do you think the anime would be if All Might followed through and gave the quirk to Mirio? That is a tough question to answer. So let's think, because like a part of me worries that like Night Eye saw that he would lose his power, right? Night Eye used his power on Mirio and saw that Mirio would lose his power. But Night Eye also saw that Mirio should have been the receiver. So the question is, to answer that fully, we have to determine, would Night Eye have seen Mirio losing his power? Because if Mirio lost his power while holding One for All, then that would have, All for One would succeed. So the question is, would Mirio still lost his power if he was wielding One for All? And that would be the determination, because if he still had his power, yeah, he would have just waffle stomped everyone, right? Like Mirio was clearly better than Deku in almost every single way. But if he was going to lose the power, then he would have doomed the whole world, right? So I guess it kind of depends on that one aspect of the overhaul fight, because the only reason all that went through as it was because Deku was able to change the future somehow through his sheer determination, and that is a unique trait to Deku. We don't know if Mirio would have been able to change the future like Deku did. So that is the crux of it. Waffle stomped? Yeah, because all the baddies are just giant piles of poo that need to be stomped down the drain. Waffle stomped. It is a legit term. And it's waffle themed. I feel Dex typing right now very angrily, with much anger. Alright, we got the black box. The reason I say is he got a few licks in before he lost his power. If he got those hits One for All, wouldn't be able to take his power. That is true. I mean, if he had the full force of like All Might behind him when he punched Overhaul, I think he would have absolutely decimated him in one blow. I also feel like Mirio is much more open to the idea of just putting people down. Like, I don't feel like he would have held back. I don't feel like Mirio would have had this, I need to save everyone. I feel kind of like he would have been like, oh, this dude is a bad dude, so we're going to just absolutely stomp him into the ground with no with no remorse. You know, I feel like he definitely wouldn't have held back against Overhaul. Well, that's not good. They did a call in over here. So we're in super trouble. Maybe we can take our black box and hide. I don't think so. Do you think Mirio would have changed his name to Lemillion to Labillion? I don't think so, but I also think Lemillion is probably one of the best hero names in the show. Like, so many of the heroes have terrible names, but Lemillion, like, his purpose behind having Lemillion, why he chose Lemillion as a name, was just so good. Mirio started out as one of my least favorite characters and quickly became an absolute favorite character. Like, we need more Mirios in the show. Mirio was such a good dude. You know who also would have been excellent if he got One for All? Would be Stain. Like, Stain proves that the whole world of My Hero Academia seems to be inherently flawed. In that, like, it seems like, yes, Stain's quirk definitely helped to take out some bad guys, but also, like, the fact that he could beat them without, like, he almost beat Deku and Native and what's his name? Todoroki and Emergency Exit with just a little bit of his quirk. Like, one-on-one, I feel like just using blades and having no quirk, he could probably take out a lot of people. So I feel like Stain would have been absolutely amazing had he had One for All also. Stain probably has the second coolest quirk with a horrible cost reward. I'd hate picking people's blood all the time. If he would have teamed up with Toga, he would have been unstoppable. But, like, he proves one of the flaws that people bring up about Deku, and I absolutely stand by they are right about this, is the whole premise of Deku being told you can't be a hero without a quirk is so inherently flawed. Because, like, yeah, without a quirk, you're not going to be taking on Overhaul and all that, but, like, there are so many low-level villains that could have been stomped without a quirk that, you know, he could have at least been putting in the effort, right? Like, he's like, oh, I'm quirkless, I can't do anything. Okay, but clearly, when you first started working out with All Might, you got muscles, you got strength, you got the ability to do things, right? So, like, clearly you could have been doing something to at least work towards your goal, even if you didn't have a quirk. And Knuckle Duster from Vigilantes shows us you're able to stop at least some street level villains. So no, you're not going to be the #1 hero of all time, but I still feel like you'd be able to be a hero and do something even if you didn't have a quirk. So, like, I feel like him being told by everyone that, oh, you're quirkless, so you're a loser and a nobody, is just inherently flawed to the world. Because how many quirks did we see that are absolute garbage, and yet they still found a place? And then, on top of all that, to make it even more worthless, is we see multiple times that the one... What's the studio called? The Oh, I forget their name. The support department. The support department is able to build so many good things that are so powerful that you don't even need a quirk, right? Like, Hagato's little babies and toys clearly are powerful enough that you could take on street level villains with just those. You don't even need a quirk and a power, and the fact that they can make all these different powerful things shows us the whole premise of the show is flawed. Let's grab a expendable napalm. There we go. That'll be fun. Here we go. I haven't seen the final season. Why exactly does he lose his powers at the end? You could be that guy, dispense tape from your elbows, or Mineta. And yeah, Eraserhead is another proof that. Eraserhead has a quirk, but he takes on like 100 villains at once using just his scarf and martial arts, right? Like, clearly, you can be a hero without a quirk. Like, that whole premise is just beyond flawed.
Sending out an SOS.
Sending down sentry. Sending down support weapon.
Yeah, Eraserhead's scarf is no joke. He absolutely absolutely decimates people with that scarf.
That's called democracy.
Oh, where did the backpack go? Where? Oh, it got knocked all the way over here. Okay.
Found something.
Or like Snipe. Snipe is a really highly rated hero. What's he do? He just shoots people really good, and he's not even the best marksman. So, like, okay, if his power is bullets and shooting people is considered to be a hero, couldn't just anyone pick up a gun? Deku with a Glock? You're telling me Deku with a Glock couldn't fit into like the number 100 hero, the top 250? Like, clearly, Snipe made it into the top like 50 by just using a gun. So why couldn't Deku? Yeah, Night Eye throwing stamps that weigh 3 kilograms that somehow take down massive villains. You're telling me Deku can't work out enough to throw a 3 kilogram stamp?
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldive.
It sounds highly unsafe. I mean, no one said hero work is safe, but
I got the terminal.
I just feel like they're lying to us, you know? I think we can prove that the idea that you have to have a quirk to be a hero is just a flawed idea at the very, very minimum.
How do you like it?
Allied destroyer joining squadron.
Or like the guy whose power of Moonfish, his power was just teeth. Like, you're telling me that guy's one of the strongest villain because he has good teeth? Like, the whole thing is ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that Deku should have been working out from the start. Like, Deku shouldn't have been a whiny crybaby in Season 1. He should have been spending all of his time protein maxing, gyms maxing, and all that, so that he could have proven, like, I'll just be a vigilante and I'll just beat people with the power of fist. Like, I feel like that would have been just as valid of a story arc for Deku. That's all I'm saying. Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist is a great hero. I like Best Jeanist. Mostly because he fixes Bakugo. And even though there's a whole, Bakugo's redemption arc and all that, Bakugo is annoying to say the least. So I'm glad he gets redeemed, and I'm glad they make him better, but he's still a very annoying character. Also, like, Coda? How does Coda with the power to talk to birds? Like, you're telling me Coda can be in the top 20 all-time heroes with the power of talking to birds? Come on now.
Calling down supply.
Or Present Mike. Present Mike just has the ability to be really loud. You're telling me no one's thought to pick up like 5 megaphones and just scream really loudly into a megaphone? Because that's what Present Mike does, right? So like why can't someone without a quirk replicate that with just a really loud speaker? Why does the dude have the power over denim? The power over denim definitely makes me wonder, like, they say the first quirk showed up with the glowing baby at the Hosu hospital incident, right? Like, but maybe, were there quirks before that? Like, is it possible that the first quirk user was actually a caveman, like Best Jeanist, who had the power over denim and denim just hadn't been invented yet? And is Deku really quirkless? Like, what if Deku's quirk was actually the ability to control alien technology, but because no one had discovered alien technology yet, his quirk simply didn't function because he just didn't find the right thing? You know, what if his quirk is throwing moon rocks and we just don't have any moon rocks on Earth, and so we didn't know he actually had a quirk? Like, have they considered that before saying, hey, this is a quirkless loser? Have they thought, let's bring him into Area 51 and introduce him to all of our top secret things and see maybe if he has some ability to control things that maybe we hadn't considered? Deku was trash. He had a bad attitude, I'll give you that. Like I said, he should have been working out the entire time. Do you imagine being the guy with the camera work and never being able to see one? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, how many quirkless people just never discovered what their quirk actually should be? And how many quirks are out there that are just absolute, like, garbage tier quirks, right? Like, we know that there's some bad quirks out there, like the guy whose head is manga and he has the ability to control manga. Like, that's pretty lame. And like, Deku's mom can gently float items towards her, but like, those still have at least practical uses in some way, shape, or form. Like, could you imagine being the guy who's like, my quirk is the ability to harden poo? Like, maybe he would be a great hero. Like, you know that comic with Spider-Man, where you find out that there is a Spider-Man who is just a sentient colony of spiders, and nobody wants to fight him because no one wants to fight a huge horde of real spiders? Like, I imagine Pooh Man would be the same way. Like, imagine you're a villain and you're robbing a bank, and Pooh Man shows up and starts flinging the power of diarrhea at you. Like, yep, that's an instant surrender. You're right, I don't want to fight you, Pooh Man. Take me to jail because I don't want to be washed away in a tide of diarrhea. You're right, I surrender. Froppy is amazing. Her quirk isn't, though. You mean her magic secret quirk that somehow makes her an excellent partner because she calms people down around her? Her second quirk? All quirks are bad unless they train and master it. I don't know. There are some quirks that just seem inherently good for some people. Like that one lady who her quirk was take a sip of tea and her IQ becomes 200. Like, how much does she really have to train that? Or like the guy who Principal Nezu, right? He was just a badger who was born really, really smart. I don't know how much he actually had to train that one. Which is also, I think that's a terrifying implication they haven't thought out. If animals can be born with quirks, especially Nezu, that makes him super powerful, like, what are the odds that, like, oh, cute, there's a puppy in the street. Oh, goodness, no, the puppy is breathing fire because he can't control his quirk because he's a mindless animal born with quirks. Like, how dangerous is the world they live in, where the random, like, oh, that's a frog, and that frog has the ability to detonate itself with the power of a nuclear bomb. Like, What do you do about that? What do you do about mindless animals that are born with super dangerous quirks and you might not know about it, right? Like how messed up is it? Like any animal could be a spy, so we have to go and decimate the fly and mosquito population because they could be absolute walking bombs or spies or things like that. Like the whole premise of the world is flawed. Imagine the dog from Parasite against the... I haven't seen Parasite. Parasite is on my list of anime to watch. I've heard Parasite's pretty good. And then there's like Momo, you know, casually the ability to absolutely destroy the world economy, but she doesn't because she's a hero. But like, what if there's a kangaroo out there that was born with the Midas touch, and everything the kangaroo touches turns to gold, and all of a sudden there's a million animals running around turning everything into gold? Seems like a problem. Just saying that the world of My Hero Academia is just minorly flawed. It's still a fun show, and I love it. I'm just saying that there's a few flaws that haven't been all the way thought out. The chick from America who can retcon things. And then you've got like the doomsday quirk theory that quirks are only becoming more and more powerful. Like we saw that when Bakugo was out there with the kid episode, right? Where it's like, wow, these kids are kicking my butt because their quirks are so powerful. Like that should be his next. If he makes another My Hero Academia anime and continues the story, I would love to see the story from the perspective of Doomsday Quirk, like 500 years in the future, and everyone's got the power of All for One in their hands. So they actually discover that Overhaul was right, and that the government needs to go in and start taking people's quirks away because that's the only way that we can possibly make things safe. That's the story I want to see. Give me some of that. Oh, we're running. Oh, we're running.
Sweet liberty, my leg!
Fire! Fire!
Say hello to democracy!
Also, further proof that the whole you can't be a hero without a quirk. Aizawa says his quirk does not work on the heteromorphs, and he still beats heteromorphs. So even completely quirkless, he beats heteromorph villains, which proves that you can be a hero without a quirk. Like, Aizawa's living proof of that, and kind of a hypocrite for threatening to kick Deku out for not having a quirk or a impractical quirk when he can literally beat people quirkless. What's up with that? All right, SCFA guys, go take out those guys. Yeah, you guys run back there and take them out. I also feel like a My Hero Academia America spinoff could also work. Like, you know, obviously we have some time gaps between the events of One for All and All for One. So, like, just do another series set in America. I think that would be a great solution. Also, see what the Americans are up to. Because you know American heroes have a much harder time. Like, yeah, the villains in My Hero Academia in Japan are tough, but imagine My Hero Academia America, where not only does everyone have a quirk, but they've got a machine gun. Like, that seems like it would be, yeah, everyone would just have guns. That seems like those guys would have a much harder time because everyone's out there with a gun on top of it. Oh, I'm sorry, I said gun. Everyone's got a pew-pew. Got to use those YouTube appropriate words.
You will never destroy our way of life!
Everyone would fail gym class. Oh, back up, back up. We're just gonna casually barbecue everything. I love this cremator. The cremator is probably one of my favorite additions to the game. I love how much ammo it has. I can just sit here and barbecue everything. If Japanese heroes came to America, they could be detained by ICE. I don't think Hirokoshi wants to make that, though. The real reason Hirokoshi will never do an American version of My Hero Academia, I think, is because he really likes his pervy characters and drawing underage characters in the nude, and allegedly that's more acceptable in Japan, but obviously that is not acceptable in America. So I feel like half of his heroes would just get arrested for child nudity, and that is why he refuses to do My Hero Academia in America. All right, Ben, have a good day. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Like, I still stand by there's no reason why Invisible Girl had to activate her quirk in the way that it did. It's not acceptable in America unless you're a politician or rich. There's an asterisk next to it. It's not acceptable unless you're a politician or incredibly rich. Then apparently you can do whatever you want. Oh. Fun fact, Waffles did a My Hero Academia in America podcast. It lasted 4 episodes until someone absolutely ruined the game. I'm so frustrated with it. I think it's been long enough I can talk about it. The dude had plants in the game, and he was someone who took care of plants. And they messed something up, and the villain destroyed the plants. And this dude crashed out in real life, like legitimately crying, like, why would you destroy my character's plants? And was legitimately devastated over it. And that's why now, like, it's so hard to recruit for D&D and Dungeons and Dragons games, because I want to be respectful. Hey, this should be a safe place. This should be a fun place. We should all have fun. But if you're so mentally unwell that having plants in your game destroyed legitimately sends you into a spiral of depression, you should not be playing Dungeons and Dragons. You should be in therapy, because that is not a normal reaction. You need legitimate help. Good morning, KFC. And I'm mad that he ruined my game and podcast with that, and I hope that he got the help that he needed. And so now every time I recruit for Dungeons and Dragons games, I have to have the conversation of, look, I have no problem if you have depression, if you have anxiety, I want to be accommodating to you. I want to make it work for you. But also, if you're at a certain level of mental illness, I want you to go to therapy, and I don't want you at this table. And I know that's a rude thing to say. But how else do you say it? You say, like, I don't want you to ruin the fun for everyone else. You know, it's the same thing when people are like, well, I want to play in your adventure, but one of my hard no's is violence, so there can't be any violence in my Dungeons & Dragons game. Well, then maybe Dungeons & Dragons isn't for you, right? It's a fantasy adventure about going out and beating the bad guys and slaying dragons, so if you can't handle violence, maybe rather than imposing a rule on everyone else, you should just accept that maybe this isn't for you. D&D is cheaper than therapy. I don't even know if that's true. If you've got good insurance, you can go to therapy for like $25, $75 a session. I've definitely seen people drop hundreds of dollars on D&D. So I don't know if that's true. Speaking of, the Dungeon Crawler Carl Dungeons and Dragons game just launched on BackerKit yesterday. I'm very excited to see what we do with Dungeon Crawler Carl, the TTRPG. Did you see what Trump posted? I saw him attack the Pope, and I saw him post himself as A doctor? What, did he post something new? Did he post something last night? I think Trump has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is the Antichrist. I think we can all safely admit that now. Can we all admit that? He attacked the Pope again last night.
How'd you like to taste all freedom?
I know that most Protestants despise Catholics, and there's quite a few Protestants who don't even believe that Catholics are Christians, but like, he's gotta see what a bad plan that is, right? Like, most people, even like atheists, typically have respect for the Pope in the fact of like, hey, this guy's a religious leader who's trying his best to make the world a better place. Like, what could possibly be gained from attacking the Pope? Like, what does he hope to gain from it? What does he think is going to happen? Especially since, what's the Pope been doing lately? The Pope's been saying war is bad. We should take care of starving people. We should care about those in poverty. And we should be conscious of how war impacts people around us. And Trump's like, that man's the most evil person in the world. How dare he say that peace is good and that starvation is bad? Like, you're pro-starvation, you're pro-war crimes, and you're pro-abuse. Like, that's your stance. And you think that makes you come out looking good. He recently said, praise be to Allah. That one I'm not as sure is a mark against him. Like, it's pretty common knowledge that Allah is just another word for God. Now, granted, in most contexts, we know that it means from, you know, like the Muslim perspective, but like, it is just a word. So I don't necessarily fault him for saying that one particular phrase, but there's a mountain of other things we can criticize about him. I've said it since the beginning, and I have no problem being that guy who says it, is that you cannot be a Christian and support Trump. And I will stand by that position forevermore. That you are not a good Christian if you support Trump. And I think that I think more people need to tell Christians that. To a stupid base, it should be a big deal. I mean, we're talking about the people that kept going, was like 2 weeks of tan suit watch when Obama wore a tan suit and we had to have crisis mode over the tan suit. So, yeah. The fact that my state, the state I am currently in, we just had our 4th measles outbreak of the year because there are so many people who are anti-vax and who have not been vaccinated that we are seeing a resurgence of measles. And now we have to check every week government websites to watch where the measles outbreaks were to see if we were exposed to it. That's some frustration. Somehow my dad still supports Trump. He definitely got the right idea when it comes to Bible and stuff, but he still supports Trump, which to me at least goes against what he stood for. It baffles me. Oh, definitely. I mean, even if you don't read the Bible, even if you don't read the Bible one lick, you've probably at least heard Jesus say, and to you I give a new commandment, the most important commandment, love thy God and love thy neighbor as I have loved you. And nothing Trump does fulfills the loving thy neighbor as I have loved you. It's baffling to me. It is. But then again, I mean, there's a lot of things that Christians do that baffle me, that shouldn't be happening, that there's no way you think there's no way Christians should be doing that, and yet here they are. So I guess I should never be surprised by the depths of depravity that some Christians will find themselves in and try and justify.
Down a sentry.
Where's my cremator? Oh, I didn't call it down.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
Good morning, Javi.
Squid outpost. Spotted.
Did you know your name, Javi? There is a coffee company named Javi Coffee. Did you know that you are named after coffee, or coffee is named after you? And I'm sorry to report, it's not very good. It's not very good coffee either. Christianity is doing exactly what they wanted it to do. Yesterday my phone said Wednesday, so I did my workout thinking it was Wednesday. I woke up today and saw that it was Wednesday. Hey! Double workout, right? Thanks be to God, you get to work out a second time. Who's that? DJ Khaled? DJ Khalid, another one. That's what you're in right now. You get another one. Speaking of DJs, I saw yesterday in Durham, North Carolina, of all places, in 2 weeks, Durham, North Carolina is putting on a Pinkie Pie's birthday celebratory bash, cringe fest rave, as they call it, and they're calling for everyone to dress up in furry costumes and My Little Pony costumes and come to a My Little Pony themed cringe rave. So if you happen to be around the area of North Carolina, I kind of want to go to the My Little Pony cringe rave and see what exactly does a My Little Pony cringe rave entail, and what is that like? 'Cause that kind of sounds, it kind of sounds interesting. I kind of want to see what the cringe rave is all about. Also, I don't know why they would use Pinkie Pie when clearly everyone knows that Rarity is the best pony. So I think they should rethink that decision. Oh, thank you. I'll be busy that day. Dex out here hating on My Little Pony. Surprise, surprise. Once again, Dex out here being a hater. Hasbro has been putting out some leaks that it looks like we might be getting a My Little Pony revival here soon. So be prepared for the next generation of My Little Pony. We're also fully getting a My Little Pony Magic the Gathering set again. We're getting a second My Little Pony Magic the Gathering set, and the cards look really good. Stubbed my toe so hard it's still hurting 2 days later. Hopefully you didn't break it. Question for everyone. I just finished Redacted Regiments. Do I get Python or Viper Commandos?
Ready to liberate.
I don't remember what's in those, KF Javi. What are the main draws of both those? If you remind me like the main like weapons and perks are, I can tell you for sure. Oh, that guy just got blown up.
Requesting sentry.
I want to say Python Commandos is the better one, but I don't quite remember. That's what my gut's telling me. Also, speaking of My Little Pony, did you know that My Little Pony had an official crossover with Dungeons and Dragons? And there are official My Little Pony Dungeons and Dragons characters that you can play as. They have a full party. There's a barbarian, a bard, a sorcerer, a rogue.
Throwing grenade.
Outpost cleared.
Calling in
Maybe that should be my niche. Maybe that's how I'll stand out from the rest of the crowds. If I start calling everyone every pony, do you think that'll make me stand out among the streamers? If I adopt the come on every pony, put your hooves together. I can be the first pony based Helldiver. That there is a niche that no one thought would ever exist. Python has a maxi gun and some heavy armor and cool light armor. Augment that makes stims give speed boost and reduce damage. Okay, out of those two, here's what I would say. If you want fun, the maxi gun is a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a fun new weapon, go with Python for the maxi gun. If you want the best, go with Viper, because that booster that gives you the reduced damage and speed boost is one of the best boosters in the game. So if you're going for pure fun, just grab Viper. If you're going for effectiveness, get Viper. Because nobody wanted it. That's probably true, Dex. My dad was always a great guy. I definitely agree with something he taught me, but now I'm starting to see his flaws in his thinking. That is one of the hardest days that every child will go through this. And the later it happens, if it happens later in your life, feel blessed. We all know that our parents have flaws. Our parents are humans, and thus our parents will have flaws. But there comes a day when you realize that your parents can be wrong, that your parents can be flawed, your parents can make mistakes, your parents can do and say wrong things. But if you're like 25 and realize that, you should feel blessed, because there are 6-year-olds out there, right? There are 6-year-olds who realize that their parents are flawed people because they're abusive or neglected or constantly yelled at and screamed at. So count your blessings if it's later in your life when you realize that your parents can be flawed, because the kids who find that out too early, that is one of the saddest things in this world. That is one of the most heartbreaking things in this world. There's this one TikTok creator who does whole segments of skits, and I hate them. I cannot watch her because they're too real about living life as having, like, they call it trailer park mom, which is very, I don't want to say it's not accurate, but I also think that it maybe the stereotype is harmful about, like, imagine you're a 6-year-old and you're at the grocery or the gas station with your mom, and she's screaming like, "No, don't get those toys. I told you, don't ask me for nothing. Now give me 2 packs of Marble Reds and some scratchers because I'm feeling lucky." Like, "Oh, you want a cookie? You got cookie money? No, put it back down. Now give me a 13 rack of beer." Like, yes, I know that's real. I will not watch. I cannot stand watching it because I know that's a reality for a lot of kids, and it sucks. So, like, yes, your skit is accurate, but that doesn't mean I want to watch it, right? There are kids who are living that. My parents tell me, don't ask me for nothing. And, like, I saw it in real life, and I didn't I didn't recognize it because I was a young and dumb kid, but one of my friends growing up had really abusive parents, and one of the things that stick out in my mind, because it was funny to me as a kid, because I didn't realize it was abuse until I was an adult, God forgive me, was he had a headache, so he went up to his dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I have a headache. Can I have an aspirin?" And his dad went, "What's that? You want an aspirin?" And then he just starts spanking his kid. Like it's funny, like, "Oh, my child's suffering, so I'm gonna beat you as a joke." And I thought it was a funny pun on words as a kid, but like how messed up is that? And even worse, to make it even more like messed up, was that kid was adopted. Like, those parents chose to adopt that kid to beat his butt. Like, how messed up is that? Like, you chose to have that kid just to hit him. I don't get it. I don't get it. And apparently that's a whole other reality that happens a lot, where parents will adopt a kid just to hate the kid. Like, well, you're not our real child. You know, our firstborn child is way better than you because he's actually flesh and blood, but we adopted you for some reason just to make your life miserable. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, big laser coming for us. Oh, big laser coming for us. Come on. There we go. Good morning, Ethan. Welcome in. Me and my best friend are incredibly mean to each other. I feel like most boys go through that phase where when you're a teen that you show affection by being mean to each other. I don't know why most teenage boys go through that phase, but it is a thing, and most of them grow out of it. But there's also something cringe about 30-year-olds who act that way, you know? Whose love language as a 30-year-old man is belittling other people. It's almost as cringe as other cringe male behavior. Dudes who are in their 30s who still think it makes them cool to want to fight everyone. You know, they go through that whole, like, "Oh, what, you want to fight about it? You want to go to the bar? It's Friday night, we're going to go fight people?" Like, if you still think fighting is cool when you're in your 30s, like, dude, you need some help. Haven't watched you in a long line. Your name was Sir Spino, if you remember. I don't. I apologize, but my memory's not that good, so that it could just be memory-based forgetfulness. But welcome back. All right, other way. Complete opposite way. Turn, turn, turn. Faster, faster. There we go. Oh, that laser went right over my head. I just got really lucky there. That almost that was scary. And blown up by my ally. It baffles me how purely biological material results in the masterpiece and existential horror that is the human brain. So one of the things that they talk a lot about in OCIA is that we have the ability by reason alone to discover God, and that's part of that argument, is saying that looking at like evolution, looking at how the world was designed, seeing all the billions of things that had to come together to create the world we live in, that we can reason ourselves to that there must be a grand architect to it all who wisely put this all together, because there's no way that all of this would happen by random chance. And I'm definitely in that camp. When you think about all the billions of coincidences that just had to have happened to create the perfect Earth for life to form, for consciousness to form, for evolution to function in the way that it had, there's no way in my mind that that could possibly be random. Like, even more so if we're alone in the universe, right? Like, if there is no other planet in existence that has life except for ours, like, doesn't that solidify that there has to have been intelligence somewhere to create that? If there's but one human planet with only one consciousness, one human, one life for one planet, all the billions and billions of stars and planets and conditions, like, the chances of it not happening anywhere else ever, I think also would prove the existence of God. Now, I am in the camp that there are aliens. I definitely am firmly in the camp that there does exist life outside of Earth, but if there isn't, to me, that's just further proof of the greatness that is God. I don't think we'll probably ever discover it, no. Unless we get into the whole science fiction of, like, faster than light travel, right? Like, and that whole idea doesn't actually seem plausible. That's the only way we'd ever discover life outside of us. And yet life exists here. And life is good, because God has ordained it as so. All right, we're gonna light ourselves on fire for the greater good here to knock that guy over. If we do have life, if we do find life, it'll probably be non-intelligent. I mean, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say what life would look like on other planets. It definitely wouldn't look the same as humans, most likely, right? Like, depending on the conditions of the planet and all that. But it's so hard to say. But my favorite priest, Father Gary, who's retiring soon, God grant him peace. Father Gary is a wonderful priest and a huge Star Trek fan. And Father Gary loves space and Star Trek. And when I talked to him about heaven, he talked about that his hopes for heaven and his belief is that God created all these extra cosmos because once we're given our perfected bodies, we won't need to eat, we won't need to breathe and all those things. And that we'll be able to venture forth into space and just explore an infinite universe and cosmos and see stars and beauty beyond our comprehension. And I thought that was so beautiful. I hope Father Gary gets his wishes in heaven. I hope Father Gary gets the ability to travel the stars and see the infinite cosmos and beauty of what God has created. I really hope Father Gary is right on that.
Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff. Reinforcement budget depleted. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
This city will soon be a shining beacon of freedom once more.
Oh, GG. Another mission successfully done for the Helldivers. All right, we're liberating the planet slowly. Sometimes when I have a reason, existential crisis, I think about what if God actually doesn't exist. I know he obviously does, but the scenarios play in my head, and then death becomes very scary because there's nothing after it all. There seems to be two lines of thinking on that, because there are people who's like, that's very comforting to me, the idea that it's just, you know, we can't remember a time before we were born, so it would feel just like that, where it's just like, well, we wouldn't be conscious of it, so it's not scary. But then there's other people who the idea of an infinite nothingness is a terrifying thought. So all right. Unfortunately, it is time for me to go to real work. So I got to go get ready for my regular job. So let's end with our prayer as always. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, thank you for this blessed day, and thank you for all that you do for us. Today we continue to pray for our politicians, our misguided politicians. We pray for peace, and that our politicians may enact peace and find a way to end the suffering that is ongoing in the world right now. We pray for all the people who don't have enough food, water, shelter, those who are unhoused, those who are suffering. Lord, help them all. We pray for those in purgatory, those who've been forgotten, those who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. We pray for the children that are suffering, the children currently in hospitals undergoing surgery, all the children who are going through this great turmoil. Lord, be with them and their families. And finally, as a special intention today, we will pray for the priesthood, all those who are entering into the priesthood, all those who are currently working with that cross, that great burden of being a priest, whether it be the loneliness or the trials and tribulations that come with it. Lord, help our priests. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, that does it for me today. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. We will be back at it on Friday morning. Remember, I have surgery coming up, so here soon on the 30th, I will not be streaming because I'll be getting my teeth removed. So be prepared for a couple days of silence on that. But outside of that, thank you for watching. Have a blessed day, and we will see you all again on Friday.